Week 12 of the fantasy football season. And here's a few wide receivers I would drop this week. The first guy, Emmanuel Sanders of the Buffalo Bills. So Sanders, he got out of the gate hot here for this Buffalo team in the first month, 2 months of the season. But right now, the last month of the season, we haven't seen anything here from Sanders really. Week 10 versus the Jets, 24 rushing yards, 2 catches, 27 yards. Week 11 versus the Colts, 3 catches, 26 yards. Week 12 at the Saints, 3 catches, 28 yards. And right here, Week 13, a tough matchup for him versus the Patriots that give up the fifth least amount of fantasy points to wide receivers on the season. So right now, Sanders, he's been dropped in 8% of fantasy leagues, and he's just not producing. This Buffalo Bill team, it's pretty much through Stephon Diggs and Dawson Knox is his passing game right now here. And Sanders, he'll occasionally have the good ball game, but he's third or fourth in the pecking order on that offense, especially with Cole Beasley in there as well. So right now, with the lack of performances and the mediocre to poor numbers, he's an easy receiver to drop this week here. The next wide receiver I would drop is Robbie Anderson of the Carolina Panthers. So this Panther offense, it's been pretty bad this season here. And this week I've recommended to drop a few guys on this Panther offense. Obviously Newton, then Christian McCaffrey because he's out for the year. And now Robbie Anderson, who I've mentioned to drop a few times this season. It's still mind-blowing to me that he's available that he's owned in 46% of fantasy leagues. So the last few games here for Anderson, he's pretty much been non-existent. Week 9 versus the Pats, 1 catch, 2 yards. Week in Arizona, 4 catches, 37 yards, and a touchdown. Week 11 versus the Washington football team, 5 catches, 30 yards. And Week 12 in Miami, 1 catch for 15 yards. So right now they're going into a bye week. The numbers just haven't been there. And Anderson's been a fantasy bust. He was a guy going 6th or 7th round in most fantasy drafts. But last season he had a good year with Teddy Bridgewater. But this year with Sam Darnold and Cam Newton, he just hasn't got the job done. And I would cut my losses and get rid of him this week. And the third and final wide receiver I would drop this week is Corey Davis of the New York Jets. And Corey Davis was their prize free agent signing at the receiver position. But right here, he's been outperformed by Elijah Moore, the rookie this year. And the few games that Jamison Crowder played, he's been pretty good as well. But right here, Corey Davis, he hasn't played a lot this season. He's missed 4 games on the year. And right here, even the games he's played, he's only had 2 big games this year's Davis. So the last few weeks for him, Week 10 versus Buffalo in that one, 5 catches, 93 yards, a fumble loss. Week 11 versus Miami, 3 catches, 35 yards. And Week 12 versus Houston, he missed that ball game. So fantasy owners are getting fed up here with Davis. And now he's got a groin injury. And obviously this injury is no joke, the groin. You got to cut, you got to jump. You're using your legs, obviously. And that's one of the worst injuries, a hamstring or a groin, obviously, that's nagging for a wide receiver. So it wouldn't surprise me if Davis is going to miss a week or 2 more here. I'm just going off what I think here. But with a tough matchup versus Philly that gives up the second least amount of fantasy points to wide receivers, and his injury history, and Zach Wilson back in the lineup as well, we just haven't put up big numbers with him this year. I think Corey Davis is a wide receiver I would drop this week. So that's a few receivers I would drop here for Week 13 of the fantasy football season.